Day one of NBA free agency told us a lot. There was a ton to digest, from people retaining contracts with their respective teams to friendly faces going to new places. There's a ton to talk about with this day one. I am going to be posting a video when Damian Lillard inevitably gets traded to the Miami Heat talking about that, so you guys might see a double upload today. But in today's video, we're going to be grading NBA free agency day one. We're going to be mostly just focusing on the big names. There's a lot of underrated signings, like the Suns picking up Yuta Watanabe, Harrison Barnes staying with the Kings, Josh Hart going back to the Knicks, the Spurs retained Trey Jones. I think the Bulls getting Kobe White on that contract was nice. There's a lot of good contracts like that, but we're not going to be focusing on all of those. We're just going to be focusing on the big pictures. So with that being said, we're going to discuss the first signing I thought was very interesting, and I'm giving Fred VanVleet to the Rockets a C-. For Freddie, this is an amazing deal. I mean, you're an undrafted NBA champion, and now you're making nearly $45 million a year to play in what used to be one of the biggest markets in the NBA. The reason I give this such a low rating and a C- is because from the Rockets standpoints, I think with Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, the newly drafted Amon Thompson, there is so much talent in the backcourt and so much young potential that can be flourished with the new addition of the head coach, Ime Udoka. And now you bring Freddie in there, and you're not going to pay someone $43 million to be a bench mentor. You're paying him that money to start and possibly make the playoffs or play in. I don't know. If you were going to pay someone that much, maybe you would consider the option of a Houston reunion with James Harden, like we've heard a ton about in this offseason. Right when the season ended, we started hearing reports left and right that James was going to go back to Houston. In my opinion, just for the future, I was hoping if they were going to pay them that much, they would do what the Pacers did with Bruce Brown, and they would do a 2-year, maybe even a 1-year contract with a team option or a player option. I just think 3 years, it doesn't really fit the timeline of this team. I'm not saying Freddie is old or Freddie's necessarily going to make them worse, but I think the acquisition of a guard like this does potentially stunt the growth of someone like maybe Kevin Porter Jr., who is getting more comfortable at that point guard role, or Amon Thompson, who you were possibly considering starting at the point guard this season. I don't know. The second addition we're going to be talking about is Bruce Brown to the Pacers. I think this is a B+. It seems like a lot of money up front, yes, but with Tyrese Halliburton getting as much money as he did, and the Pacers just honestly having an all-around good roster. I said this in my video, I think yesterday. A lot of people forgot how, in the playoff hunt the Pacers were last year when Tyrese was healthy. I think the addition of Bruce Brown to this team is just going to make them that much better. Bruce Brown, if you guys for some reason are living under a rock and didn't watch any of the postseason, he's a very capable shot creator, very capable shooter. He's great in transition. He plays great defense. He does get in foul trouble sometimes, but he always corrects himself. Bruce Brown is a tremendously talented player, and I think the Pacers, like I said, B+ for this one. This was a great signing. The Dallas Mavericks, you guys bring back Kyrie Irving and bring in Seth Curry. Originally, I had this at a B or a B-, but with the acquisition of Seth Curry, I'm actually going to rate this a B+, because it makes me hopeful that the roster is going to continue to go in ways where they're signing people that complement Kyrie and Luka. Kyrie and Seth looked absolutely amazing, not only at Duke, but especially in Brooklyn. I thought that Seth was just such an underrated role player in this league, and that is exactly the type of person you need around Luka Doncic, someone who's a more than capable 40% three-point shooter. I think, like I said, this is a B+. This is an amazing acquisition for the Dallas Mavericks. I'm really hoping they can get another big man in there, and I'm really excited to see what they do next. Chris Middleton back to the Bucks. I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a B, maybe a B+. The main reason is because I made it a point in some of my past videos that if the Milwaukee Bucks were to retain Chris Middleton, I would really like it if it wasn't on a contract that they previously had, which was about more than $40 million a year. On this new contract, we're looking at around $34 million a year, which it may not seem like that much of a difference, $6 million, but $6 million is the difference between that minimum and someone who's a great role player like a Seth Curry. like Rui Hachimura. These guys, they're getting paid, in that ballpark of $6 to $18 million. And if you're saving $6 to $18 million, then you're able to sign these people. I really do hope the Bucks can bring back Brook Lopez, because I think he's absolutely, quintessential to this team's success. He plays a lot of great drop and help defense, especially with Giannis and Bobby Portis, forcing them to be the focal point of defense. All in all, I'm just really excited to watch the Bucks next year. And the only A+ of this video is Draymond Green re-signing with the Warriors. I feel like I don't have to spend that much time on this. The Dubs, they made a really great decision, just keeping the timeline up with Steph Curry and Draymond Green. Steve Kerr loves him. Steph Curry loves him. Klay Thompson loves him. Bob Myers, before he stepped down, he loved him. Draymond Green is just quintessential to this Warriors team success. $25 million a year. It seems a little bit steep. But that's just the price you pay for a real connector on the offensive defensive side of the ball. Sometimes you just can't pay for experience, like you could bring someone in that does everything Draymond does, but he doesn't have 10, 11, 12 years with Steph Curry, with Klay Thompson. It's just remarkable that this team was built through the draft. And now 4 NBA championships later, and I believe 5 or 6 finals appearances later. I think 6 finals appearances later. It's just, this team, it's absolutely remarkable. I'm excited to see Dre back in the Dubs uniform. I'm excited to see Chris Paul in the Dubs uniform. It's going to be a really interesting season. For the Washington Wizards, retaining Kyle Kuzma, I'm going to give it a B-. To be honest, I didn't really expect Kuzma to re-sign with Washington. He did ask for a lot of money, so I guess it makes sense that Washington would be the team or organization to give him that money. I guess I expected it to be elsewhere. It's going to be interesting to watch Kuz and Jordan Poole together. Kuzma made some tweets talking about how, they're ready to turn Washington around. I'm not really a big fan of this for Kyle Kuzma himself, but for Washington as a franchise, I guess it's all right. You still are, having someone that's going to go out there and get 20 or 25 a night and sell some tickets. So in this stage of rebuilding and retooling, maybe it's a good decision. The Memphis Grizzlies pick up Derrick Rose, and I honestly think this is an A-, maybe a B+, but I just think someone who's as solemnly humble as Derrick Rose, and someone who went to college in Memphis, someone who lived in the south side of Chicago, someone who grew up with a real, terrible upcoming, it would be a great mentor for Ja Morant. I think it's going to be pretty eye-opening if them two can, talk together and just... I read a report that Derek is going to get a lot of PT this season, and he's going to be just vocally the leader for Ja Morant on and off the court. And I just think that's really just a powerful signing, all things considered, from the basketball angle and from off-the-court antics angle. I really did think it was a loss that they lost Tyus Jones in free agency, or they traded him away. But I really do think that it's going to be super interesting this season to see Derrick Rose a part of this franchise and just actually get minutes. It was killing me to see the Knicks, not give him any minutes, but I digress. Last 2 teams we're going to talk about are the Blazers and the Lakers. For the Blazers, really quickly, I'm going to give you a D-. Just because you signed Jeremy Grant to a 5-year, $160 million, which is the biggest, contract we've seen this postseason outside of Tyrese Halliburton. And then about 10 minutes later, Damian Lillard requests a trade. That's the only reason I'm giving it bad. It'll be fun to watch Scoot, play next year. Anthony Simons maybe is point guard next year. I'm not really sure, but I'm not a big fan of that signing for Jeremy Grant. It seems a little similar to like the Tobias Harris situation that the 76ers were in a couple of years ago. And for the Lakers, I'm going to give them a B+ so far. I think re-signing Rui, picking up Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes, Taurean Prince, all amazing signings. It just gives you a lot more depth at the forward positions, and Jackson Hayes is a very explosive and bouncy center. Hopefully this can alleviate some of the tension in the regular season from Anthony Davis, from LeBron James. The Lakers, they got a couple more pieces to move. They got to decide what they're doing with D'Angelo. But outside of that, it's been a very interesting day 1 of free agency. I'm sure you guys will hear from me again tonight or tomorrow. I do have work today, so if the Dame trade happens while I'm at work, the video is going to get posted a little bit later. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Stay safe and healthy during this holidays, guys. Just fireworks can get crazy. I really appreciate your guys' support. Peace.